Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is elder abuse. And we're fortunate to have two persons to talk about elder abuse with us this morning. The first person is Miss Maribeth Farringer. And Ms. Farringer later will give us some information in reference to her background, education, and her experiences. And Miss Diane Grayman, will give us essentially the same information in reference to her background, education, and experience. And of course, Ms. Farringer, after we get that information, then we'll be able to go into this segment as well as the second segment dealing with the topic this morning of elder abuse.
Right.
And one of the most important things I think that we have to talk about, Ms. Farringer, is elder abuse and a definition in reference to elder abuse after you give us some information about your background, education, and your experiences.
Okay. I have been working for the Council on Aging for 23 years. I'm the executive director now, and this was a job that I fell into. I majored in business, and really to run a nonprofit agency, you need a business background to be able to handle everything. But our agency is not a direct service provider. What we do is bring together groups around specific topics where we see a need or a gap in services for seniors or for their caregivers. And then we try to come up with some solution. That might be a new program, it might be some materials, or it can be a study, it can be legislative action. And with this elder abuse topic, we're kind of seeing all of those come to bear in that.
Very good. Ms. Grumman, what about you, your background, your education, and some of your experiences before coming to us this morning?
Sure. I have a master's in social work from the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill, and I've been the executive director of the Alzheimer's Association here in Middle Tennessee, off and on for 10 years before I joined Mental Health America as their program director about 4 years ago. I've been on the Council on Aging Board of Directors, on their Leadership Council, and now I'm chairing the Elder Abuse Initiative.
And so both of you have been involved in activities dealing with the elder for the longest, is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay, Ms. Farringer, when we talk about elder abuse, exactly what are we talking about?
It's a really pretty broad definition, and in general we consider elder abuse to be the lack of care or inappropriate care for a vulnerable adult. And that can be someone with a disability too, in addition to just being elderly. But there's physical abuse, there's emotional abuse, there's sexual abuse, there's neglect, and there's self-neglect where the senior just is incapable of taking care of themselves. And then probably the biggest or the most common is financial exploitation.
And so the elder population is subjected to quite a number of challenges in a real sense. Is that what we're saying?
They really are. And just to take the financial part as an example, many of us, when we get solicitations, we just hang up. But seniors are more kind. This may be the only call they get all day. And so they're more likely to listen to that caller and maybe fall into a trap of financial exploitation. And in terms of physical abuse, let's say, oftentimes they're dependent on someone to take care of them in order to stay in their home. And unfortunately, many times it is this caregiver, often a relative, who is the abuser, but they're dependent on that person, so they hesitate to fight back or to report the person.
Ms. Grumman, when you think in terms of your own career, and we've got about a minute here, and I'll simply pose this question, and when we have our commercial break, we'll come back and we'll start with you. When you think in terms of your own career, what are some of the things that you've found in dealing with elder abuse and relationships that elders have with others during your own career, and that you would like to bring to us this morning in reference to your situation?
Well, I think that emotional abuse is often overlooked and can be so demeaning to the person on the other end. I think we don't realize the yelling, the cursing, some of the things that are said that we don't realize what an effect it might have on the self-esteem of that other person and what it might do to their outlook on life, their quality of life.
In other words, interpersonal relationships have a very, very important part to play in terms of the relationship between the elders and other persons. Is that
They're,
correct?
they're relative caregivers as well as the paid caregivers.
Very good. And of course, let us take this first commercial break, and we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. Welcome back to the second